guys, what's up? What's going on? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is another pick a card reading. This pick a card reading is all about how to find the way that you're going to manifest all your dreams and how to make all your dreams happen, and basically what you need to do in order to manifest all of them and make them all a reality, which is super awesome, and I'm super stoked for this reading. This is pile number 1, this is pile number 2, and this is pile number 3. So basically how this works is you pick a pile right now just by looking at them without knowing anything, and then you jump to the timestamp link down below in the description box to skip ahead to find out which pile means what. So if you pick pile number 2, skip ahead to pile number 2. If you pick pile number 1, of course, skip ahead to pile number 1. And if you pick pile number 3, skip ahead to pile number 3 and to find out what it means. But without further ado, let's hop right into this video, starting now. So pile number 1, let's find out what this one says. So we have the 8 of Swords here, right beside the Knight of Wands, and beside the Fool. All right, so starting with the 8 of Swords, this card basically means that you're a little bit trapped by your own thoughts right now. So maybe you have limiting beliefs about what you can manifest, and you maybe feel like your dreams are a little bit out of this reality and you can't quite make them happen. It's also kind of having too many ideas. So maybe you have a lot of dreams that are on the plate that you really want to make happen. There's just too many that you don't really have the ability to focus on just one of them because so much is going on, and you haven't had the time to specifically define each and every one of them because there's so many that that you have going on in your head that it's kind of hard to define what dream you want to go for because there's so many options, there's so many things, and each one of them isn't specifically quite defined and exactly pursued because there's just a lot going on. So it's about having to make a decision and find out what dream you actually want to pursue and get it locked down, figure out what's most important to you, and then step out of your shell and comfort zone to be able to manifest that. It's also a card that talks about maybe we have these specific beliefs that we can't quite attain what we want to because of other people's thoughts and restrictions on our ideas. Like maybe we've tried to express our dreams and desires in the past and people have kind of shut us down saying it's unrealistic and we can't make it happen. We're not good enough to make it happen. And we're stuck there in those limiting beliefs of, oh, well, I can't make it happen. So maybe your dreams haven't come true yet because of these limiting beliefs, and the law of attraction of course comes back and says, oh, well, if we have these limiting beliefs, then of course we can't make this dream happen. Of course it's not going to come true because I don't believe that it will come true for me because I've been shut down so many times by other people that I just believe it's now true. And maybe it's our own thoughts as well coming in saying that, you know, it's a dream that's unrealistic and we can't quite make it happen. We have too many things going on. So it's like kind of we feel stuck and trapped. So the whole point of this card is to tell us to kind of pick an idea and stick with one of them at least for now, because when you stick with one, it's way more likely to happen. So find out which one's the most important to you and figure it out, stick with it, and make it happen. Visualize it to completion and visualize it a lot. Like kind of figure out the whole plan behind one idea, and you'll actually step outside of this kind of cage that you put yourself in. Because right now you're in a cage of not being able to manifest anything because of limiting beliefs, and also because there's so many ideas that you probably have that you're kind of a little bit trapped right now because there's just a lot and there's too many things going on in your head, too much on your plate. So therefore manifestation is a little bit of a bleh because there's just too much going on, if you understand that. So pick one, pick what's most important to you and define it and figure it out, and then just go for it, get that drive. Then the Knight of Wands here, this is a really good card to have. So once you kind of figure out your idea and you figure out exactly what you want, it's going to move forward and you're going to feel inspired. And so it's about finding the one that you're inspired about the most and going with it. The Knight of Wands also tells us that we need to put work in. We need to put the work in to make it happen and stick with that inspiration. But the good thing about the Knight of Wands, especially when he's upright, he just really, he finds a goal, he's so inspired by it that the work doesn't really feel like work anymore. So if you can find something that you're so inspired by that the work doesn't really feel like work, it will be great. But it just means you have to put the effort in every day and show up every day, because this is a guy that needs to show up every day. He's a fast-moving guy, so these dreams can actually, you know, manifest and happen really fast for you as long as you go in and show up every day and put the work in every day. So making schedules, because the Knight of Wands, He really likes to be spontaneous and go for this and go for that and go for that and go for this. But when you're going on all these different roads, you know, you don't really get anything done. You don't really make anything truly happen and come true because you're just jumping from flower to flower. It's about learning the lesson of sticking to one flower and making that one happen because it's so important to you. And as long as you have the inspiration for that and the drive, it will happen actually really fast for you. But it's about sticking to one and not jumping from flower to flower and figuring out how to make that one work for you and be so inspired about it and show up every day. This is also about really believing in your dreams, because with this card, it's kind of like we have the lack of belief that it can happen. With this card, this guy is just like, he just goes for it no matter what the idea is. He's the kind of guy that dreams really big and people kind of tell him, you know, that dream's a little bit unrealistic, but he's like, no, it's not. I got this. I'm gonna make this happen, and you can totally make it happen because this guy just has total belief in himself completely and total inspiration that he doesn't care what anybody else says. He just kind of is a rebel and does it anyway. So that's the kind of person that you need to be in order to make your dreams happen, because it seems like you have the dreams that people probably tell you are unrealistic. So if that's the case, if that seems like it correlates with you, it's about being a rebel and just doing it anyway and having full total belief in yourself. With the Fool especially coming next, the Fool is like kind of like that childhood sort of mind frame where we don't really know the rules of society yet per se. And so any dream that we do have, whether it's becoming a mermaid or something, you know, for example, you know, something that's kind of unrealistic, the Fool is a little kid that believes in it anyway. So as long as you incorporate that belief of, you know what, I can totally make this dream happen, even if it's something that seems unrealistic, you can totally make it happen. I think this is totally talking about a person that literally has those kind of really big goals in life. So if that's you and that correlates with you, it's talking about keeping that childhood mind frame of, you know what, I don't care what anybody else says, I can make this happen. And I'm sorry I'm repeating that so much, but it's kind of really what's calling out here. So I feel like saying it a lot so you guys can really get it in your head. Like, if this is the pile that you chose, whatever your dream is, just come back to that childhood like faithfulness of, you know what, I can make it happen. I can totally, totally make it happen if I believe in myself and I just define it to one specific goal and just focus on that and show up every day. You'll totally make it happen. The Fool also talks about trusting the universe. So you have to have this kind of like total trust that the universe has got your back. So you might not have the full plan figured out, but at least you know exactly what you want at this point. Well, once you've gotten to, you know, this point, after you figured this stuff out. So once you've gotten to that point, it's like having total trust in the universe that even if you don't have the full plan figured out, but you know exactly what you want, you know exactly what it looks like, and you're just walking forward, trust the universe that the universe will unfold the correct path to you and bring you the right opportunities. And then just trust and just fall into it, you know, because the Fool, he's about to like walk off a cliff, you know what I mean? So it's about trusting the universe that if you do walk off that cliff, the universe will put a cloud there for you and take you away. Or maybe there's like another step there where you walk into like the beautifulness of the world, but it's about like not really knowing exactly what you're, you know, walking yourself into, but just having trust that it's gonna turn out exactly how you visualize it. So as long as you have the perfect visualization of it, it will turn out that way. So that's that reading. The last card that we have is a moon card, and this one is the new moon in Scorpio. And this one, it's so perfect how it ends right after the Fool and says, work through your fears. And so the Fool has no fears. He lets go of all the fears. It's like taking your fears completely away. And so I think what this is talking about is a complete death of, you know, this sort of mind frame that you're kind of used to and coming into the newness. It's like a total rebirth. This also is the indicator of a sexier time. That's kind of what Scorpio is all about as well. And so since it's a new moon, it's like total transformation into something new, like a total rebirth. Scorpio is about that as well. So it's kind of like double powerful on the whole rebirth scale. So kind of let this self die, figure out what you want, and then transform yourself into the person that knows exactly, has like one goal and just goes for it, shows up every day and has total trust that it's gonna happen no matter how big and unrealistic that goal is. And that's all for you, pile number one. All right, so pile number two, let's find out what is going on for you. All right, so we have the World, the Ace of Swords, and the Wheel of Fortune. So the World card talks about a total completion of a certain phase of your life. Maybe you recently got married, or you had a birth of a child, or you just completed a really big goal of yourself, or you're completing a lot of self-work that you've been doing, but somehow something is totally new and totally different, or on the verge of becoming totally new or totally different. Like you're on a completely new life path than you probably were at the beginning of the year or something like that. So now you're on the verge of literally completing a phase of your life, and things are about to be very, very new. And you may or may not have an idea of what you want to do next, because you're just literally completing this major, major phase of your life. Like this is a sense of fulfillment, a sense of completion, like you've totally just completed something. Or maybe it's telling you to approach your dreams and desires from a sense of what it's going to look like in the end. Sort of visualize what it's going to look like at the very end of it, and get that whole idea in your mind, because what the world is about is kind of visualizing the entirety of it and feeling like the end of it. What's it going to feel like at the end? It's also a card talking about reflecting on your journey. So whatever thing that you just went through and the whole phase that you just completed, reflect on it. How did you achieve this? What kind of mind frames did you have to get to this place that you are right now? Reflect on that journey and what brought you here. And so really reflect on that, because it'll give you answers on how to go about doing the next phase, because you probably did a lot of manifesting lately and you realize that you've literally completed like this whole other phase. So what did you do to manifest? Because whatever you can figure out that worked for you will give you clues about how to manifest the next point of your life. The World card also talks about travel. So travel might incorporate in making your dream come a reality. So maybe you're wanting to manifest something that requires like kind of like travel around the world type of thing, or trips here and there. So really think about and ask yourself, does whatever you're trying to manifest regard trips? If it doesn't, it's probably about completing phases and all that kind of stuff. But the World card can also show up if you're wanting to manifest a lot of travel. So that could definitely be what's coming up for you as well. Having the Ace of Swords here right after is like totally significant and totally really powerful, because it's a sign of experiencing like a whole new wave of energy, a new way of thinking, and you're transforming the way that you have your thoughts like come through and go through. So maybe you figured out like with reflecting on this whole phase that you've completed, you can really reach new mind frames and new ways of thinking, and reflecting on this can really put you in a positive space in order to manifest new things. So it's about kind of changing your mind frame by reflecting on all the stuff you've just manifested, because maybe you don't even realize how much you've manifested, but when you actually reflect on it, you'll be like, whoa, I did a lot of manifesting. And as long as you can reflect on that and really find out how you did it, and really look at the situations that you've experienced, the good and the bad, and figure out how you manifested the bad and how you manifested the good, and how you changed it around to being good and being like in your favor. So really look at those types of things and then incorporate them in the new way that you're gonna manifest things now, and what you're wanting to manifest now, because this is all talking about like this new mind frame and this new way of thinking, and it's a really, really good way of thinking for you. So really reflect on that and figure out what it is, and then go about this new manifestation with this new mind frame, because this is going to be really powerful for you in manifesting your next dreams. And figuring out how they work is by really focusing on the way that you think about it and your mind frame going into it, and all of the good and the bad, and how you manifested each of those, and to get rid of more of the bad stuff and just incorporate all of the new good ways of thinking and how you manifested that. This is also about finding new ideas and exploring new ideas. So maybe we can't find them all within this, and we're going to be doing some more exploring and more expanding of our minds and figuring out exactly how we manifest the next stuff by doing a lot of mental stimulation and mental figuring things out. So do a lot of reflection in this time. Wherever you go, kind of like talk to people, figure out how they do certain things, and really expand your entire like mind frame, because the swords deal all with the mind, with the thoughts, how the thoughts work. And so for you in manifesting, it'll all be a whole mental thing. So it's figuring out the mental side of things and really figuring out in your mind, and like tuning your mind to making things happen and making things work for you, because I don't think you realize quite how powerful your mind is. And you may notice that in the past, every time that something has come up for you, it's literally been kind of your thoughts that control it. Because if you go and reflect back on the past, anytime a bad situation came up, you were probably not in the best space and not thinking correctly, and then you manifested it literally so fast. And so anytime something good came about, it's like you literally put your mind frame towards those good things, and all of a sudden they just happen for you in reflecting on your past, you may notice that and a huge pattern around that. This also talks about being super excited and really inspired to go about your new dreams and new inspirations. You might be like totally full of energy and you're so excited to get started. It's almost like it can't happen soon enough type of thing, because the swords are a really fast moving, really quick thing. So just make sure that your mind frame's in the right space and you'll be able to manifest things really fast. So basically anything dealing with the mind at this time is really, really powerful, whether going back to school or socializing a lot, doing a lot of like mental things, whether it's meditating, the law of attraction through working with your mind a lot. Just something to do with mental stimulation is a really, really good way for you to manifest. But you have to be really careful on your mind frame, because also any time that you think of something negative, you'll notice it comes in your life really fast, just as when you think of something positive, it comes in your life really fast, because the swords are something that's very quick moving. So you have to really watch out on your thoughts, because it seems like you're a real like mental manifester, and anything that you think of just comes about. So really watch what you're thinking about. Make sure that you're usually in good moods, and anytime you catch yourself in a bad mood, change it to a good mood somehow, because your mental power is literally so strong in manifesting that you make pretty much whatever happen just by thinking about it. Ending on the Wheel of Fortune, this card talks about how things come around and go around. It's about karma. Whatever you put out, you get back. It's like the wheel that keeps on turning. Also, the thing about the Wheel of Fortune is if we think more positively, it'll have more positive points that the wheel could land on. And if we think, you know, half and half, we'll have half good, half bad that it could land on. So it's all about changing your mindset into pretty much thinking as much good as possible, and you'll have more good on this wheel that it could possibly land on throughout the day and throughout the week or whatever that it can land on and bring you. So if you have any negative thoughts, they'll kind of show up on the wheel. So just try your best to think as positively as possible. Of course, it's impossible to control everyone's like entire thoughts all the time. So just as best you can, try to think as positively as possible, because more positive mind frames actually outweigh the negative. So as long as you're thinking mostly positive, it will actually get rid of the negativity. So don't really worry about it too much, but just focus on positive stuff as much as possible, and you'll notice that you manifest things really easily. So you manifest a lot through the mind. So definitely keep that in mind when you're manifesting things, and even when you're not focused on manifestation, just focus on your thoughts and make sure that you're thinking as positively as possible, and switch it to thinking positively, because your thoughts are the most powerful thing in your manifesting. The last card that we have is Emotions Are Running High, the Super Moon. So this card's basically talking about dealing with your emotion. Don't let your emotions get to you, because basically what we're talking about here is that your mind frame literally creates your reality, because your mind is so powerful. So if you have any undealt with emotions, it's really important to deal with them so that they don't manifest into your life, especially if they're negative emotions or something that you need to get over. Definitely focus on getting over it, whether you need to cry it out, whether you need to just like deal with it. Do whatever you need to do to basically deal with your emotions, because when they're running high, you'll notice you're manifesting a lot of that same stuff in order to deal with it. So focus on your emotions and really have them work for you rather than against you in this whole reading. So that's all for you, pile number 2. Get out there and manifest your dreams as much as possible, because your mind is so powerful. All right, so pile number 3, let's find out what is here for you. So we have the 7 of Cups, the Knight of Pentacles, and the 3 of Cups. So the 7 of Cups coming up here really talks about you have a lot of options, and you're probably the type of person that constantly has all these different options that they're going for, but doesn't quite like go through with any of them. So you don't quite finish anything. You're the person that jumps on a new exciting idea that pops up and you're just like, yes, this is the next one that I want to do. Yes, yes, yes. But then you're noticing that maybe you don't actually want to put in the effort that it takes to make that dream happen. You're just looking at the end goal, but you're not really looking at the middle stuff. You're just excited by the end. And then when you find out you have to do all of the middle stuff, it kind of gets boring, and you get kind of fed up with it really quick and disappointed really quick because it's not moving along as fast as you hoped that it would. And then so you jump on the next new exciting thing by looking at the end goal and being like, yes, that's what I want to manifest. And then you notice that maybe it wasn't exactly what you thought it was, because then you're looking at all of the middle stuff again, or it's just not coming as fast as you wanted, and then you jump on the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And you kind of have this pattern of doing that without actually finding one that you actually really want to manifest and just sticking through with it. This is kind of what this card talks about. And so another thing that this card talks about is like, any cup here will have its positives and its negatives. So you really have to pick something, because everything in life comes with, work and all that kind of stuff. Of course, there's certain things that don't require as much work, especially if you come into it with the right amount of inspiration. Nothing really feels like work, especially if you really, really want it. So when you go and find something that you really want to do, it's about finding something that really fits with you, that you enjoy the end goal of it, but then also like the middle stuff, it seems worth it to have that end goal, because I don't think that you've actually found the right thing for you at this time. I feel like all the things that you've found so far, you like the idea of it, but then the work doesn't actually feel like it's something that fits into your life. So it's about finding something that you can actually picture yourself doing every day. And maybe that's something that's difficult to figure out, but it's about thinking about it, meditating on it, reflecting on it. One thing that you can really do is have a book of affirmations and write down every day that you have now found your goal and that you're living it, and you've figured out your dreams, you've figured out what you want to do in your life, and write that every single day, and write it in present tense, because it's really important to write things in present tense, because you kind of create this sort of like void in the universe of this like lack of energy. When you're picturing that it exists already when it doesn't actually, you kind of create this vortex. Therefore, the universe has to like bring this to you and fill that void, because the universe does not like vortexes or voids. It's like when you're driving really fast with a car, you'll notice that the wind at the back of the car is so strong because it's kind of creating like a vortex of lack of space, and therefore the wind has to fill it up really fast. And so whatever you're trying to manifest, it's about creating that like lack of space by believing that it already exists, and therefore the universe has to bring it to you, and it has to bring it to you really fast, because you're creating a certain shape. Maybe the thing that you're wanting to manifest is, for example, the shape of a cube, and a circle won't fit that, because then there'll still be like lacks of space here and there, or it just won't fit, you know what I mean? So whatever you're attracting, you're going to attract exactly that thing, but it's about manifesting it in the now and believing that you already have it. So a really good way is creating like a book of affirmations and writing it down and pretending like you already have it and you're already living that life. And it can really help you manifest whatever it is that you're writing down. So if you write down something like, I found my goal, I found my passion, I'm now living it, and you really feel it, you visualize it as you're writing it down. Even if you don't believe it the first couple of times, you'll begin to believe it more and more, and the universe will actually bring you to finding out what that goal is for you and what it is, and it'll incorporate it into your life more and more. So definitely go out and do that if you are having trouble figuring out exactly what you want to do. It's a really good way to figure stuff like that out. And so the next card that we have here is the Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles coming up right after is a guy or a girl per se who really works hard towards their goals. It's a person that does not give up. He sticks through it till the end, no matter how boring or frustrated or routine that it gets. This is a guy that just sticks it through. And so this is your advice, especially coming right after the Seven of Cups. So if you are a person that doesn't like sticking things through because they don't like sticking in the mundane, like you really might be a fire or air sign or something like that, that really gets boring or bored when like routine comes up and things get a little bit less exciting for a minute, because it's like the fire excitement's gone away and you have to like do the regular crap and work every day type of thing, which might not be your cup of tea. But this is talking about that's what you got to do, because whatever goal that you have, if you really want to manifest it, you have to stick it out, even through the boring parts, even when it gets routine every day of doing the same thing of manifesting and doing this and creating this and having to go here and go there and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. It's the same thing. It might get repetitive and routine, but you just gotta do it. This is a guy that sticks with it no matter what. So in order to make your dream happen, especially once you've figured it out, is just stick with it. Even if you have figured it out, but you just don't know how to make it happen, you just got to do it every single day. It might feel like hard work, but as long as we're doing it, we keep that end goal in mind, and we keep that inspiration coming by visualizing that end goal and realizing, yes, I do want this. I do want to make it happen. Keep visualizing that so that every day when you wake up, it won't be so hard to go and make it happen and do the same things in order to keep creating it and keep moving forward and keep moving forward. Because this card says that as long as we keep moving forward, we will get there. You will make it happen. Maybe you get stuck because you don't believe you can actually stick through with it and make it happen. It feels like, oh, what if I put on all that effort and it doesn't really do anything? It's like, ugh, don't want to do that. This card says that if we stick with it, we will get there. It's about having that patience and just keeping moving forward, because you will get there if you keep moving forward. There's no other thing that can happen. You have to get there if you keep walking forward. The universe, you will end up there. It's like there's no as long as you're moving forward, it's not moving farther away from you. Your dream isn't moving farther away. You're just moving closer to it. But it's about sticking through with that and sticking through with it till the end. And then with the Three of Cups at the very last thing here, it's talking about you manifesting it, you getting it. And it's about celebrating. It's about being like, yes. And then also it's like talking about as you're going through this kind of maybe boring-ish process of having to do the routine every single day, it's about celebrating and rewarding yourself for doing that. So if it seems like a routine, maybe it's about setting up some way of congratulating yourself and rewarding yourself. Maybe it's about on the weekend finally going out with a bunch of friends, getting those drinks and relaxing and being like, yes, I'm doing it, and finally like get out that stress, get out all that frustration of, doing all these routine things and being able to kind of let loose and let that stress go so you can get back to it in the next week and just keep making it happen. So it's about rewarding yourself in that kind of way. It doesn't mean you necessarily have to go out drinking. It's kind of whatever celebration that makes you feel good. So it's about, somehow rewarding yourself. Whatever you really like doing, make like one day of the week about doing that and rewarding yourself so you can get back to it with full inspiration. It's also about surrounding yourself with people that uplift your energy, support you a lot. So support, get it from like friends and family, and they'll totally support what you're doing. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they'll be super excited and super happy for you. So surround yourself with people that totally uplift you, and you'll notice that you'll be able to go through with this a lot easier. It'll be able to happen for you a lot faster and really well. The last card that we have for you is the You Are Good Enough full moon in Virgo. So this talks about worrying too much will only attract more things to worry about. Don't be overcritical. Apologies to yourself might be in order. Stop second guessing yourself. Raise your karma by doing something good. It's all about that kind of stuff. It's also about hard work bringing results. Virgo is all about putting the work in. Virgo is an earth sign just like the Knight of Pentacles is, so it's all about putting in that work. Virgo literally puts in all of the work, no matter how routine and mundane it might get. Virgo puts in the work and keeps doing it and perfects it and just keeps showing up. So it's about keep showing up and putting in that work and just knowing you're good enough to make it happen. Don't have any self-doubts. Get rid of any self-doubts. Get rid of the negative thoughts that might pop up of like being in a routine. Just like do it, and you will make it happen. But decide what you want to do and then stick with it, and stick with it till the end, because you'll make it happen as long as you stick with it. If you give up on it, it's not going to happen, obviously. So find what you want, put in that work, congratulate yourself through the process, and you will make it happen as long as you keep showing up. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys liked it. That is all for everybody. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a really big thumbs up for me. Hit the subscribe button down below if you haven't already. Share this video if you think it might help somebody. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.